Hello proxies, welcome to my simplified, practical Shunguang guide, the Void Hunter agent released in the patch 2.5 of Zenless Zone 0. So this is gonna be my first guide ever, so if you have any feedback or suggestions for the guides in the future, feel free to post them in the comments, it's much appreciated. Also, if you wanna support me for free, you can subscribe to my channel as well. It helps a lot, especially for a new creator like me. Let's move on to the guide. So Shunguang is a Void Hunter agent, she's an attacker. Her element is Honed Edge, which is a special element but behaves basically the same as physical. It applies the Assault anomaly and benefits from physical buffs and debuffs. So other than it being low, there's nothing really special about it. One note, I won't be using all the names that the game provides us in the skill description. I will try to simplify it and make it easier to understand and easier to learn, so anyone watching doesn't have to read all that. So she has two states. I will refer to them as normal state and enhanced state. She doesn't do too much damage in the normal state, so what you want to do is keep up the enhanced state as much as possible throughout the fight. To enter her enhanced state, she needs to have 6 sword orbs, and then either do the entry skill by swapping from another character to her, or by holding your basic. Most of the time you will be using the entry skill though. She gains the orbs by doing pretty much anything in the normal state. The attacks fill up the bar under her HP, and one full bar gives you 1 orb, with the EX special giving a full orb straight up. She also gets 3 orbs when somebody in the team opens Ether Veil, and you can also enter the enhanced state with the ultimate. The orbs can also overflow, meaning if you have 3 orbs already and use your ultimate, you will save those 3 orbs for the next state, and the overflow goes up to 3. In the enhanced state, she gains 6 white orbs, which she can use to deal more damage in the state. More on that in the combo section. So generally how you wanna play is, get 6 orbs by attacking in her normal state, or putting up Ether Veil with another character, and then enter the enhanced state and do your damage. And use your ultimate when you have it. So her normal stance is pretty simple. Fill up the bar by attacking, cast your EX special when you have it, and you can also use your skill to dodge attacks and gain some of her bar, similar to what Evelyn and Alice have. Make sure to keep up the teammate buffs and put up Ether Veil with them whenever possible. In her enhanced state, there's a few combos you can do. I will show you some of them, but keep in mind the enhanced state is pretty flexible. It's not very strict, so you can adjust them to your liking. So, there's a few things you can do in her enhanced state. You can just smash basic attack, and that will be fine for most of the content in the game. But every time she slams down from the air, you get 1 stack that you can consume by pressing skill during your combos. So ideally you want to use these stacks to increase your damage during your combos. And you can do that in a few different ways. So one way you can do that is by pressing your skill right after she slams down from the air, and you will consume the stack while continuing with the long combo, resulting with about the same duration of the combo but more damage. But you can also make that combo shorter. This is the fast combo I use the most on her, and it's done by casting the skill right after she enters the state, basic attack for the slash, jump up with the skill, then skill again to slam down, and then instead of doing basic then skill, we do the opposite, skill then basic, because we are staying on the ground. You can also just hold skill, she will do a bunch of quick slashes and expend all 6 orbs, and then do the finisher. Make sure you hold skill or cast your ultimate after any combo to do the finisher. As I said before, her combos are pretty flexible, so you choose which combo to do based on the fight and your combat timer. Just keep in mind, after you slam down from the air, if you do skill then basic, you will stay on the ground. If you do basic then skill, you will jump back into the air. So choose what to do accordingly. If you need to swap out in the middle of the combo, preferably do that after you use 3 orbs, so you split your rotation in 2 parts. That is useful if you play with Astra, or you wanna reapply some of your buffs. Those are the basics. Let me know in the comments if you would prefer this more detailed. But how do I build this character? Building Shunguang is pretty simple. She has her own signature set, White Water Ballad, so that is always gonna be our 4-piece. And then for the 2-piece, you can use either pen percent, crit damage, attack percent, or physical damage. They're all pretty similar, so just use the 2-piece with the most substats. The disc 4 can be crit damage or attack, disc 5 you can use pen percent, attack percent and physical damage, and disc 6 is always attack percent. For the substats you want crit rate until 50%, she gets 30% from her passive and 20 from the 4-piece, she's maxed out on crit on 50 already. Very nice. Other than that, as many crit damage and attack percent subs as you can get, they're about the same value, so take whatever has the most. For Vengeance, her signature is pretty good, other options being End-based signature, and Brimstone is also decent, especially if you have multiple copies. Just make sure you're not running too much attack percent in the main stats. If you have nothing else, use Starlight Engine. Let's move on to the teams, shall we? Good teammates are Zhao, Labubu, we got her for free. She is the Ether Veil, she's always in the team. The third slot is more flexible. Dylin is the best at the moment for the buffs and the free ultimates, which give us more entries into her stance. But you can also use Astra. Caesar is also good. You can play her with Seed. And Trigger and Jufufu are also fine. If you have none of those, then you can just use one of the A-rank supports or Polka at M6. I wouldn't really recommend any other stunners because Ye Shunguang applies a stun multiplier during her enhanced state, so stunners lose value from the day's build-up. Her Mindscapes overall are pretty good, but nothing crazy. Her M1 makes it easier to farm because it gives 6 sword orbs at the start of the fight, while also buffing her damage. Her M2 gives her more skills in the state, and her skills and ultimate ignore more defense. At M4 she starts combat with 1000 decibels, and she gets an increased max multiplier in her state, which most of the time doesn't do much. And her M6 lets you use more ultimates in her state. Pretty cool Mindscape, nothing crazy though. And Mindscape 3 and 5 are the usual skill increases, they're okay. Overall I would say pretty average Mindscapes. I usually keep my characters Sem 0, so I can't tell you much about them. I recommend going for the Wenjin first, for the drip, because fashion is endgame. I would say Ye Shunguang is amazing. Very strong, pretty easy to play once you figure it out, has gorgeous animations, and I feel like she's super fun to play. She quickly became my favorite character in Zenless, because of her gameplay, but also she's really pretty, both in her normal state and when she locks in the white hair form. I do recommend pulling her, because we don't really have any other physical attackers that we can rely on, maybe after she gets buffed. As I said, let me know if you have any feedback. Subscribe please. If you liked this video, like it. If you didn't, dislike it. And let me know why in the comments. I also stream pretty much every day over on Twitch. The link is in the description. Feel free to come by if you wanna hang out or have any other questions about any agent. You can also join my Zenless outpost. Currently I have one on Europe and Asia. Hope to see you around. Thank you so much for watching. Wish you all the best in the new year. I will try to keep these coming. In the meantime, you take care of yourself, hydrate, and goodbye.